how are you doing today? My name is Louis Lee, and I'd like to introduce the Eubanks Conservatory of Music and Arts guitar program. Hi, welcome back to Eubanks Conservatory of Music and Arts guitar course, section number 2. This is lesson number 2. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the finger exercise. We're going to pick up from where we left off from last week. The finger exercise. We're going to set our metronomes at 60 beats a minute. We're going to start that, and then we're going to do the right hand exercise, plucking all 6 strings 4 times each. So I'm going to count it off and just follow me. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Doing very good. We have 2 more minutes. Keep going, please. stop. Okay, great. That was 5 minutes. Very good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and critique what we've done. And if you notice, when I'm playing the guitar, I never hold the neck. You do not want to hold the neck. That becomes a habit. And you might see guitar players who hold the neck like this, and it permeates, it gets into your playing. Also, they'll hold the neck, and when they're plucking a note, it'll mute one of the strings. So if you notice me very closely, I never hold the neck. When I touch the neck, remember, it's like a cardiologist. I want to be able to make good music, and that becomes a habit. So there was no reason for me to touch the guitar neck. So I had my hand on my leg, or you might want to just have it just dangling or whatever. But I didn't have it on the neck, so you don't do that. Also, if you notice that when I was playing, that I try to stay consistent with the beat. Even for me, practicing is not beyond me. I have to practice like everybody else. We all have to practice. If somebody tells you they don't practice, then I don't know what their secret is. But I know I have to practice, and I couldn't, I tell you all to practice. Trust me, okay, I have to practice. So even now I was practicing. Practice is practice, no matter how good you are or whatever, we all practice. And I've studied with some of the best out there, and they've told me they practice. So make sure you do that. So I just wanted to highlight that. Also, if you notice, I was also using down and up strokes. That's very important, remember? Down, up, down, up, down, 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 down. Now, why am I repeating this? Because it's important. I see musicians all the time, they do not practice with down and up strokes. And what happens is they begin to incorporate a bad habit where they'll do up strokes or a down stroke twice or 3 times, and it creates a interruption in your flow. You have to think of running. Like I said, if you're going to run, you're going to go left, right, left, right. You're not going to run left, left, right, left, right, left, right. You're just not. You're not going to have momentum. So when you're practicing, just to show you again, you want the down and up strokes. You don't want down, down, and then an up, and then a down. Because, again, once you start to build up your speed, that would be hard even at that speed to do downstrokes. And there's no way that I could do this with downstrokes. Just wouldn't be able to do it. There's no way I could pluck it downstrokes. It has to be down, up, the momentum so I can maximize my movement. So that comes from practicing. Remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Notice how the downstroke is on that 1. Down, up, 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 and down, up. Very good. And remember, relax, have fun, and that concludes the portion for our finger exercise. Thank you. Hi. Now we're on the second section of the lesson, and this is the theory. So what we're going to do is we're going to review pages 6 and 7. That's very important, you see, because we're talking about page 6, which is your nomenclature. And you get the book. talking about this page here, the nomenclature. Now, from teaching for so many years, I find where students, they just do not want to learn this, or for some reason they're not understanding the significance of it, or various reasons they're just not applying the reasonable time in learning this. This is very important. That's why we're going to spend a little time, a few minutes, just to talk about it. Why is it so important? As I said, you want to know what these parts are. You want to know that this is your nut. If you're referring to something, you want to know that this is the neck, but this is the fingerboard. Why is it different? Look at that guitar. You see that white part? This is the fingerboard. This is a separate piece of wood. That's why it's called the fingerboard. Behind it is the neck. The neck is not the fingerboard. Put your thumb behind the neck of the guitar. You know this is the neck. This is the neck. Okay? The fingerboard. This is your fingerboard. These are where your frets are. So if you go to a guitar store or a luthier and you say, look, I like to have my guitar refretted, and the fingerboard, could you adjust that or see if there's any blemishes? You know what you're talking about, and you can articulate that, you see. Or if you go to a luthier and you say, my strings are too high, can you adjust it with the truss rod? They'll say, well, what is the truss rod? The truss rod is here. This covers it. And if you have an acoustic guitar, it's on the other end. And if you look at your book, the truss rod is, where do I say it, is number 5. It tells you what is the truss rod. Well, let's talk about the truss rod. Why is that so important? Because a lot of times when you get your guitar, the strings are very high. And the higher the strings, the more tension it is to play the guitar. So now you have yourself a nice guitar, but every time you play it, your fingers get tired very fast. And you're wondering why. So then again, you don't feel like playing the guitar because your fingers hurt. And your fingers should not hurt. So that means you have to adjust the truss rod. Okay? Do not let somebody tell you anything differently. That's what the significance, that's what it's for. It adjusts the neck. Now, in this class, you can do that yourself. That's why you know that, because if not, if you go to Guitar Center or someplace, they're going to charge you for that $60 to adjust that truss rod. But if you know it, now you're like that lady I was telling you about. She can change her own oil. She doesn't have to go someplace and spend $60. She can just change it herself. And I'm just using that as an example because that's what I used last time. But the truss rod is what you want. You want the action to be low. The action on this guitar is very low, you see. And when I play it, it's easy to play. There's no tension. So I have to apply it so my fingers do not get tired. So I can play run. Do that for as long as I want, and there's no tension. But if the strings were high, my fingers would get tired because it has to press harder. So that's not number 1, but that's also important. That's why we want to know this. Also, we want to talk about the bridge. What is the bridge? Here's the bridge. On this guitar here, here's your bridge. And you'll notice that this is a fancy bridge, but what is the significance of this bridge? So you can adjust the intonation. And again, being a guitarist and studying at UBACs, you want to know this. This is all part of the course, so you know this, so you're well informed and educated. The intonation is when you play the open string and you play up 12 frets, which is the same note. It should sound the same. And with your tuner, you can see that. You can play that E, then you play. Now you cannot see it here, but that's on. If not, then I could adjust it. You see, and that's what the bridge is for, to adjust that, because some guitars, once you get past the 7th fret, the intonation is off. So by the time you get up to the 12th fret, the chord doesn't sound right. And if you go up higher than that, the 15th, it should sound, ooh, that sounds real good. Sounds the same. That's what you want, not where you play up high and it goes off. Sounds the same, you see? So you want to know that. That's what your bridge is for. Your bridge, and this doesn't have a saddle. Okay, these are called your separate pegs and you can adjust it. That's what these are for. We'll get into that later because that's the intermediate part. But that's what the bridge is for. This is the electric guitar. And on the acoustic guitar, it looks like this. Now this right here is a guitar. And it's a nice guitar. It's a gypsy guitar. And the saddle here, there is no saddle. But there's a bridge. There's a bridge here, and you see that. And so this right here is, but it has a truss rod. And these guitars are almost perfectly tuned. And you would adjust this slightly. But these guitars, the intonation is almost perfect, if not perfect. Okay? However, if we take a look at another guitar here, Takamine. Now you see where we have the bridge. Remember, you know these parts, the nomenclature. Now we have the saddle, you see. And so how do you adjust this? This is not, these guitars are, and I hate to say perfect, but the way they're made, because of the construction, they don't, it's different from an electric guitar. So the intonation is slightly different. And I'm trying to look to see, all of the acoustic guitars are like this. You really don't have much intonation problems as you will with electric guitars for some reason. I guess it's because of the neck, the way it's made, a lot of other factors. And with this guitar right here, still working with the nomenclature, the truss rod is under the neck of the guitar. And if you look at your guitar, it's like a silver looking opening, and you put your hex screw in there and you can adjust the neck. If you turn it clockwise, the strings go up, and counterclockwise, the strings they raise. And even with this guitar, the tension is really nice and it's not real high. Let me make sure I'm in tune. Remember the protocol. Now it's really sharp. I try to make sure all the guitars, they stay in tune. Tension is really nice and it's been adjusted. And so I just wanted you to see that. And here, the truss rod, I think I mentioned that, is under, it's in the sound hole. Remember the nomenclature. This is your sound hole. So that's where it is. It's in the sound hole and it's under the neck of the guitar. Okay, so we'll put this back up here. And so that's why we wanted to cover page 6 and 7. And remember very quickly the nomenclature for your strings. E, A, D, G, B, E. Eddie, dynamite, goodbye Eddie. And that concludes the section for the theory. Thank you so much. Hi, we're back. This is the fun part of lesson 2. And we're going to make a review of what we did last week. We're going to go over it. We're going to focus on that. It's really important that we take each section and do it very wisely and take our time because it's just important. Okay, having said that, we were playing with the chords. Remember, First, we're going to set the metronome, which is the protocol. Always set the metronome. And we were just strumming the open chords. We're going to try that. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. We were doing this. And what I did was I slid up to the 3rd fret, just for some variety. And I went back to the 2nd fret. And I went to the 5th. If you're a beginner, you can just strum open, and I'll count when we go into it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can play the, just play open chord. Now this may not sound too pleasing, but try to make it pleasing. That's why this is very important. I'm strumming, but I'm trying to strum with a little style and some sensitivity. I'm not doing this. 2, 3, 4. That's not music, you see. And I have experience. That's why I can do it easily. But what you want to do is the practice on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to just make sure that when you're doing something, it's pleasing to the ear. Don't attack it too hard. And you can tell, but it's going to take some time. And my analogy is, it's like my son. He plays basketball and football, and he went to Santa Monica High. And in our backyard, I bought him a basketball court. When my son would practice a few times, just to be a father, a good father, I would get out there and try to play with him. And I couldn't keep up with him. I just couldn't, and I didn't know what I was doing. He said, "Dad, you have to practice." So a few times when he was at school, I would go in the backyard. I don't do it now because I don't have to, he's grown. But I would go back there and try to practice, but I didn't like it. It wasn't something that was me. I just couldn't, for 10 minutes and that's it. You have to practice. The key word here is practice. That's the key word. And the other key point that I'm trying to make is it has to be something that you love. It has to be fun. My son loves playing sports. He loves playing basketball, and he can get back there some nights and stay back there for 6 hours. And I'm like, whoa, he is serious, okay? I can never do that, but I can do that with my guitar. You see, because it's fun and it's something that I love. And so the key word is fun. When he's back there playing, it looks like he's playing with a whole group of people. He's having fun, and he probably is playing with some people in his mind. I can tell he's playing against Michael Jordan. He's having fun. That's his imaginary opponent. But he's having fun. And that's why this part of the section is important. You have to have fun. Even sometimes when I perform, I may sing like I'm playing with John Coltrane. I'm playing something, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm playing, but I'm hearing these other musicians. I use my imagination. I do whatever is necessary so I can enjoy what I'm doing. You have to be creative. You have to. If you just take the instrument and think that it's going to happen without any effort, any way of just coming up with methods, you're wrong. Like I said, with my son, I know that he's out there playing with the Lakers. I can just tell. I can hear him talking. I'm thinking, who is he talking to? He's out there by himself. He's imagining this, but he's having fun. The key word. So again, you have to have fun. So having said that, what we want to do is we have another 3 minutes. We just want to make sure that we're having fun with these chords, even if you play it open. Remember, we're reviewing last week's lesson, open strings, and then the first fret. So what we're going to do, we're going to just do that again. We're going to play the open strings, 3, 4. And then we're going to play the second fret with the bar chord, which is your A chord. We're just going to do those 2 chords. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm not doing anything real fancy, but I'm feeling the music. And I'm letting the metronome be a part of this. Because that's all I have. And as robotic as it sounds, I'm trying to work with it. If you can hear what I'm talking about. Now I get fancy. Now I'm playing 2 strokes. 4, 3, 4. Now when I was playing the 4 strokes, I felt where I got slightly off. I can feel it. Watch. That's on. What am I referring to? The matrix. The way I play this is very minute. It's very, very small, very intricate. But that's how music is. You can be just, I don't know how to describe it, not even a second, a third of a second off, and you can hear it. It's a feeling, you see, and you begin to develop this where you can hear where you're not exactly there. What am I referring to? The significance of playing with a metronome. That's why it's important to always practice with the metronome and to have fun. And that concludes this portion of my second.